Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Vishnu, Head of Economics and Strategy at Mizuho Bank. Now, Vishnu, welcome to the show on Monday.
Always good to be here, Brian.
Now, Vishnu, let's take a quick look at crypto markets first, then regional markets, and then I'm going to get your insights. Now, we've got a run up on crypto markets. Bitcoin is at 38,308. It's up 13.26% over a 24-hour period. Ethereum is at 2,318. It's up 7.8%. Now, going across the region in terms of regional markets, the picture isn't that good. Now, Bursa Malaysia, FBM KLCI is at 1,518. It's down 0.34%. ESGX is at 3,140.03. It's down 0.54%. Now, bucking the trend, we actually have the Nikkei, which is up 1.04% at 27,834. But the Shanghai Composite is down 2.18% at 3,473.13. The Hang Seng is at 26,527.06. It's down almost 3%, 2.91%. And rounding off the numbers, we have the ASX 200, which is 7,394, which is flat. Now, what's the reason for this, Vishnu?
Well, I think it appears markets are telling us that everyone has got to earn their own keep. So US earnings doesn't cut it. US earnings only gets US equities across the line. Whereas I think in Asia this morning, apart from the ongoing drumbeat of the Delta variant risks, China has been a major source of the chills here. So China has sneezed a little bit. Markets are very concerned about what they deem to be a crackdown, not only on the property sector in terms of credit, but also, in addition to that, the tech sector, the regulatory crackdown, and then now you've got the education, the private education system that's also coming under the crosshairs of the policymakers. So I think they are very jittery markets, and that's probably what's causing markets to be a little bit more, soft on in the knees.
Okay, now I want to zoom in on the education crackdown because there is a crackdown. It's not, you're supposed to shift to a non-profit type environment, which obviously impacts the huge amount of capital that has gone into China in the last couple of years, with the likes of even Tiger Global and Temasek being big investors. But Vishnu, actually, the underlying reason for it is actually a very noble one. It's a social reason. Could you kind of enlighten our audience in terms of what the underlying reasons actually are?
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, the two of us today could be speaking on mental health or fertility clinics, whichever way we look at the background social impact of it. I mean, the idea behind it is, I think Chinese authorities want to get away from the hot housing system that feeds off the profits, and then it becomes a vicious cycle. And also, in addition to that, they want to sort of level the playing field, because parents are plowing too much into this aspect of having a child. And there's also a thought that if you can bring down these burdens, not just financial, but the entire education system burden, they're also hoping that could boost childbirth at some point. So they're very far-reaching, very complex social aspects of it, which is being thought out of. These are very interesting things. They may not be wrong, but markets take just one signal, and that is if you're not going to show me the money, then markets get a little rattled by it, despite the good intentions.
So you see, so here it may be a case, Vishnu, of where instead of taking a fly swatter to swat a fly, you've just basically taken a hammer and just hammered it down to squash it completely. Now, do you think that perhaps, given the fact that it may be just a little bit heavy-handed, that for optimists among us, there could be opportunities here to then invest with the perhaps the view that Chinese authorities will then pull back and ease restrictions moving forward?
I was just about to say, you and I should all look at planting roses in our gardens and digging up our gardens using a tank, and that's probably what's happening in the China area. But the opportunities will certainly continue to be there, because I think like you've pointed out, even the authorities will realize there's a bit of a policy overreach. But what is tricky is to get into that space now. You need to really get into a niche space, because in any case, the overcrowding and those who were first there would already crowd out some of the opportunities that had existed there. So unless you know the market intimately and know some of the niche areas, it may still not be a riskless proposition.
Now, on your note on Friday, and I want to segue back to ASEAN. Your note on Friday, you referred to the uncharacteristic underperformance in the Thai Baht and rendering it the worst performer to date in 2021. Now, what's been the reason for this, and should investors look at this as perhaps a buying opportunity for the Thai Baht?
I mean, to reverse the adage of the higher you climb, the harder you fall, it's tempting to say, yes, there is something to look at it, but we want to look at it in terms of the multipliers involved. So one of the reasons we thought Thai Baht is underperforming by so much, I mean, it's a complex web of reasons, but certainly one of it is the fact that Thailand has got about the biggest amplifier effect from the tourism and the travel pullback and knock that COVID has caused. So insofar that we'll see that resuming at some point, that also means there's a very good scope for the Thai Baht to recover. The other aspect of it is the Thai Baht has got low inflation, but also got low returns. But it could start to look very attractive if and when taper starts to erode away some of the higher yielders and make them less attractive. In that case, you could also get money coming back in the traditional quasi safe haven features that the Thai Baht used to have. So certainly we see a lot of opportunity there, but I think timing this is going to be very tricky because the path is narrated by the Delta and various variants. And the vaccine, the vaccine timeline also remains somewhat uncertain amongst other greater medical questions that are swirling around right now.
Now, I want to segue to Bitcoin because the cryptocurrency market is becoming hot again. From just a couple of days ago, breaching the 30,000 mark, we're now looking to breach the 40,000 mark in the northward direction. Now, basically, in the last 6 weeks, we've added about 114 billion to crypto markets. What's fueling the surge?
The honest answer is I don't know. The cheeky take on this is maybe some of the money fearful of the crackdown in China is trying to find its way out and park elsewhere. But staying on China, if you believe that China is on a wider mission to crack down on some of these more peripheral parts of the asset markets, then Bitcoin probably hasn't seen the risks in the rear view mirror yet. They should continue to watch the risks going forward.
Now, Vishnu, we've got it's reporting season. We've got a lot of tech companies reporting this week. So besides that, what are the key events and data points we should be looking at this week that will move markets?
I was just mentioning rear view mirrors. So I'll tell you two from there. Those.
Okay.
The rear view mirror has got Q2 GDP for both Europe and US. Probably going to see good numbers, going to look quite sexy. Along with that, let me throw in Asia. Korea's numbers also going to come up. You're going to see, double-digit growth in Korea, Europe, if you go on a year-on-year basis. But I think markets will quite rightly start to discount that and look at the forward-looking risks and see what the recovery trajectory is going to be. The biggest event or the biggest non-event, depending on how you look at it, is the FOMC. So we get to see whether the Fed has got anything, novel to, entice markets with and tease them with. But otherwise, there's no dot plot, so to speak, the dot plot of where rates will be from the Fed members, nor will there be revised economic forecast. So there's no quantitative needle moving to get markets overly excited. So those are some of the big points we are looking at as we go into the rest of this week. For those a bit more focused on the antipodians and down under, Australia's CPI is coming out, but maybe in Australia more concerned about the anti-lockdown protests rather than a transitory pickup in inflation.
Now, Vishnu, it's always great to have you on your show. Thank you very much for coming on.
Pleasure is mine, Brian.
Now, we've been speaking to Vishnu Varathan, Head of Economics and Strategy at Mizuho Bank in Singapore on BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations. Also, please check out our LinkedIn and Facebook pages, and please like and subscribe to them. Thanks for tuning in.